one of the finest actors of his generation in Indian and world cinema, delivered memorable acts, one after the other. Kamal Haasan, an actor par excellence, a screenwriter, director, playback singer, dancer, choreographer, lyricist and producer. Kamal Haasan has portrayed many roles. Career spanning over half a decade, the iconic superstar has won 3 national awards, 19 Filmfare Awards, a Padma Shri, a Padma Bhushan, the Prix Henri Langlois French Award, Chevalier French Award for his contributions to cinema. And tonight, present amongst us is the man himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Mr. Kamal Haasan.
Put your hands together for one of Indian cinema's legendary actor, Kamal Haasan. Dancer, choreographer, actor, screenwriter, director, producer. He's all of this and so much more. So welcome. Such a pleasure to have you. I would like to also call on the session chairperson, Mr. K. Hariharan, who's the Professor of Film Studies and Broadcast Journalism with Ashoka University.
Good morning. When I saw Mr. Kamal Haasan walking down the corridor here, I could not believe my eyes. Just 8 to 10 weeks ago, when I saw him, his leg was packed with nails and steel rods all over the place. And I couldn't believe he could walk back, and then now he's walking. I'll tell you a background story. I asked him, how did this happen? So he said he walked up to the 2nd floor of his building, and as he was walking, he was looking for something, and then he went on to the ledge there. It is an old house. He's been there in that house ever since he was born. But then he walked on the ledge collapsed at the 2nd floor. And as he was coming down, he had to take a snap decision. He knew he was going to break his legs, but he decided to break one of them only. And so he fell just on his left foot and saved his right foot. I mean, that is what we call performance, spot-second performance. Now, in all this, you see, I must also tell you that with so many times, I'm writing a book on Mr. Kamal Haasan at the moment. It's called Citizen K. And I'm trying to see, thank you. In all this, in all our discussions, he would always tell me that he was a very reluctant actor. He didn't want to really he wanted to become a director, a writer. And now my first question to him would be, having declared himself as a reluctant actor, he actually went on to become an actor who always done multiple roles. He was a Bahurupi, And I don't understand how this, isn't it a contradiction that you want a reluctant actor actually ended up doing films with so many roles in it?
Thank you. Thank you. Usually I am left to tell people how I fell down. Thank you for making it short, precise. I would have meandered about how I fell down, but that's about the short of it. And about this reluctant actor business, I still am. If only the actor was not paid so much, I would still continue to be a reluctant actor. But the enticement is so much, and the benefits that come out of that actor is so much for me as a filmmaker that I let him have his grazing ground. I let the animal free. Right. And about this Bahurupi thing, once again, it only goes to say that it's not total immersion. Actually, it's another form of getaway. I hate the idea of being a star. So, what happens to a star? I'm not putting the status down, the pedestal down. What I'm saying is the star is a man who is himself, whatever role he does.
It's a kind of a persona,
yeah,
mask.
like John Wayne is John Wayne.
Right.
Even a great artist like Chaplin couldn't break out of that mold because he was chaplain everywhere. They called him the tramp or the chaplain.
Right, right.
So nobody remembers this limelight or any of this great Monsieur Verdo.
Right,
nobody remembers any of that. So that is the fear that drives me to change my face. I wanted to be another person. It's a need of a filmmaker to find another face, not the same one.
Same. You see, one of the things that we were talking about continuously in our book is the idea that for him, being a social responsibility, a citizen with a lot of social responsibility is more important. So, and at the same time, you also do fictional roles, you know. Sometimes the roles may not be in terms of what you think is socially responsible. So how do you prioritize and balance it?
It's not as difficult as a parental responsibility, but parents do say a whole bunch of lies to their children. They don't give the right answers because it's the wrong age to know those answers. So there is this kind of euphemisms that could be mistaken for lies.
Right, right.
Or they probably are lies about how I was born, and they would say the stock brought you or God. So at about 10 or 11, the boy thinks so. No one came out naturally in our family. I mean, so that kind of a thing. So as an actor, you do say those lies because people keep reminding you have a social responsibility. But even Socrates had a social responsibility, but he said the darnest of things that he had to be killed for saying that. So it's a double-edged sword. You'll have to wield carefully.
Yeah. See, for example, you have clearly told your producers that you will not smoke on screen.
Yes. Yes. So. Because I started smoking only because of one man. I think my brother also, Mr. Chandrahasan, who is down with a heart attack. And it's all connected to that smoking. Okay. And that one man who wanted us to feel like smoking was Mr. Shivaji Ganesan. It was not about the smoke or the tobacco, it's the way he did it.
Right, right.
So it's very enticing and inviting. So I thought at least we could do that little thing because I had lost quite a few of my friends to cancer. It's not that smoking is the only reason for cancer, but it could be a very strong reason. So I thought I could do without that.
Right, right. And so the producers or the director, they also to think accordingly.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the character. It's not that, but if it is very necessary for a character, we're trying to make a statement, I will do it, perhaps.
Okay. You know, coming about actors, you see, you have always held three very important actors as a benchmark. One was Charlie Chaplin, of course, and then there was Shivaji Ganesan, and you also had great regard for Dilip Kumar, Yusuf Khabare. Now, all these three are so distinctly different, you know, and how did you pick them up, these three very distinctly different characters?
They are people who are, whatever kind of acting they did, they are ahead of their times. For even Shivaji Sahab, he comes from an environment, how to escape that captivity that you are in because of your peer pressure. His peers were Tyagaraja Bahadur, who sang 14 times in a film and said very little dialogues.
Okay.
And was a bland-looking gentleman who would come and you only know his internal emotions through the songs. Otherwise, you don't know whether he's sad or happy.
Right, right.
Amma. I'm sorry. So, in that sense, with that kind of environment, to go totally away from that and sort of be inspired by Hollywood, a language he didn't even speak properly. I was very surprised when I asked him that little sort of tremor while he walked, you know,
yes.
Like there's a little. I said, that's very unique, very Western. Where did you get that? Of all the names he said, I thought he would say this actor, that actor. He said Orson Welles. Because he says he was somewhat built like me,
Right.
and I liked it, what he did with his body.
Yes.
And I changed it to my style, and he did. He even
Yes.
tried walking like Yul Brynner in one film. I didn't like it. But that's the kind of thing, and he no schooling, nothing, and I admired the way that he escaped his environment and became something else.
Right.
I'm talking about this Shivaji Saab of 50s and 60s.
Right.
That unique thing.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
And about Dilip Saab, I had the great opportunity of meeting him. I used to go and kiss his hand, and like the film Godfather, I used to kneel and kiss his hand. And after Nayakan, he said, he's the Godfather and he's kissing my hand like Godfather. And I still try and meet him.
Right.
So I was sitting with him, and somebody was trying to tell him that Kamal Haasan thinks that the acting that you did 40 years back is still being attempted
Today.
by many today, in spite of the commercial pressures.
Right.
And he said it loud, and he came to me, everyone thinks I'm also deaf. I'm only old, he said. I said, he's very sharp. And then again he repeated, I said, yeah, I got it. People are trying to do it now. But why? He said to me. That's all he said. That's the kind of, progress that he has in his mind.
That is true.
He himself thinks that's old-fashioned. He's gone ahead of Dilip Kumar's acting in his mind.
Of the 60s. That's true.
Of the 60s.
Yes.
And these are truly trendsetters. And Dilip Saab is, and not that he didn't get his due. I mean,
Yeah.
he is
Yes.
Dilip Saab.
Undoubtedly a legend.
But still, I feel that another generation doesn't really know his merit.
Real worth.
He's just an old film actor.
True. You see, in your days, as you were talking about Dilip Saab, you were in Bombay and you tried, entering into the Bombay film industry. You became great friends with people like Rishi Kapoor and Sanjeev Bhai, Hari Bhai, you call him, right? Now, despite, and Amitabh Saab, you worked with him also. Now, having worked with these great stalwarts in Hindi cinema, somehow you didn't pursue the Bombay dream further. You decided to come back to Tamil cinema. Why? Those times were like that. And one, I was a poorer cousin of the Hindi cinema, so I had to do my own laundry and stuff like that. They were really spoiled and rich, and they could make one film for 2.5 years and do 6 films at a time. I thought that's very defeating in character building. Okay.
Both morally and technically speaking. So I decided to leave it. That is one of the reasons. The other reason was there are too many underworld connections. And I didn't want to stay there to either succumb to the threat or oppose it. And I'm one of the very few actors who decided very, very long time back that I'll have nothing to do with black money. Much before all this.
My goodness.
Thank you.
But is it really possible?
It is.
Tell it, yeah.
It is. I'm living proof of it.
Okay.
I've still not folded as a company, and I'm quite happy. And here I am. I drove in a car.
Very nice.
It is possible. And I must tell you again, bring another name. He's not with us anymore. He did it even much earlier than I did. His name is Vincent, cameraman Vincent.
Cameraman Vincent, okay.
He never touched black money. And he lived a full life, had an enriching experience. And it is much before someone advised him that it's the right thing to do. No government threatened him. Nobody told him. He just made that call. And he becomes my role model.
Right.
And so also my brother Chandra Hasan. We made that call many years back.
Another great friend you had in Bombay, and both of us know him very well, was Om Puri. You know, he acted in my very first film, Ghasiram Kotwal, and he has been working with him, and they were very close to each other, you know. How did this death affect you?
Death affects anyone. But then I, over the time, have accepted death as a part of life. Without which I think a life doesn't make full meaning. I think it's like a full stop in a sentence. It completes here, and that's when you realize this is what it has been trying to say.
Right.
So I think it's a marker of sorts, and it is. I would complain about death if I had seen at least one man escape it. But none have. So I think we'll have to accept it into the life cycle, into this book that we call life. It should become a chapter of it.
But you had a very special relationship with him.
For me, the most touching thing, apart from his talent, that we take for granted because it's Om Puri. Apart from his talent, which is phenomenal, it's the simplicity that he approaches everything with. His performance, his friendship, and life itself. He's a simple man from a village. And he remembers to say thank you for the smallest of things in life. And he's concerned about hurting others. Not that he's soft-spoken. He can be very harsh, very critical, but he'll quickly come up with an apology if he thinks it's hurt. For example, there is a sequence as a director, I was directing him in Chachi 400 Base, the film. And there is a sequence which, it's a remake of my Tamil film, so I knew it by heart, the whole script. So when he was doing a sequence, it's about when he misunderstands that his boss is dead, perhaps, or dying. It's imminent that he'll die. And so he starts ordering flowers and 200 kilos of ice. And I thought it's a grand idea, because he said, can I order ice? Because we like making fun of Amreshji also. So he said, 200 kilo chahiye. Haan, lamba aadmi hai. And then we started enjoying, and then he said, he added things like, his brother will have to come from Nepal. Tab tak hamara saab sadenge kya? So he kept on adding it, and I liked the things. I said, go on, do it. And then I even added a young nurse passing by, and he says, hi, he says. And he kept improvising it, and we were all laughing, and it turned out to be a fantastic scene. When he comes back after giving the orders for flower, ice, and everything, he comes and finds that this guy is sitting up and talking, the patient for whom he ordered all the... Then he just rolls his eyes and then tells in the phone, hey, sub cancel kar. And then he walks out. And it worked out wonderfully well. It's there in the Tamil film. The way Omji sort of expanded it was so good. Everybody was laughing. Then he came to me and said, Kamalji, can I say that I added those 2 dialogues? I said, damn it, go and tell them that you wrote the same. But likha to nahi. I said, it doesn't mean that putting pen to paper doesn't venerate it. Right. Great artists like you can write reams in just 2 sentences or an expression. So that is your scene. Go tell them that you wrote it.
Fantastic. You're an amazing actor. Now, you see, there is another problem with your performances today, is that whatever you do, whatever roles you take up, you have to start thinking, how many people are out there who's going to bash you for it? You see, you did that. You had a horrible experience with a film like Vishwarupam, and now you are going to do a film called Subhash Naidu. Do you think that somebody is going to jump out?
It's unbelievable. Actually, somebody has.
Oh.
Because you are saying Subhash to only Naidus. What about the other community? Can you believe it? They really did. So I'm quite used to it. It becomes like a a serio-comic interlude between filmmaking, because I don't know whether to take them seriously and work towards it or just ignore them, because ignoring them seems to anger them more.
Right.
So it's a sort of a palaver that has to continue, and I think it's quite silly, because it's become like Twitter account. You know, anybody can say anything. You can speak to Obama directly.
Right.
And say stuff that you would never could say. So that's become the order of the day. So everybody wants to say. There was a film called Vasool Raja MBBS.
MBBS.
I think it translates into almost any language. And so there was the medical council who said, we are offended because you're calling us collectors of money. I just said we are not going to change the title. Now the film is released, they can't stop it.
Right.
I'm asking, how many doctors do not do paisa vasool? I am an actor. I charge money. If they call me a Vasool Raja, I'm proud of it.
Right.
So don't give me this hypocritic thing. This is where all this criticism comes from. This film, Vishwarupam, for that matter, everyone said it's an anti-Muslim film. It is not. Definitely the only good guy in that film, great guy in the film, is the Indian Muslim.
Yes.
The bad guys are maybe Muslims or non-Muslims, but they are not from India.
Right.
So I don't know how they took offense for it. Hey Ram, there's a congresswoman who said that this film has to be banned. She didn't even see the film. It's an assumption because it's a medium. You could ride without a ticket in this bus.
It's a soft target which can never jump back on you.
You can take a ride. It's a nice vehicle to take a ride on.
True.
So they do it, and I think people also now are aware that legitimate grievances and faults, what we call gile shikwe, they know the difference now.
You know, being an actor for so many, you know, almost from the 5th year, and then you started acting around 17, at the age of 17, and then by the time you have, you know, moved from that to the 1981, you already finished 100 films, you know, and at that moment you took a decision that you're going to become a producer, you know, and you were just 27 at that. Why would an actor want to become a producer?
Because he had good guidance. I wanted to become a producer when I was 21. And they said, nobody will even listen to you. So don't think of directing, don't think of... I had great advisors and friends who believed in me, like late Mr. Arshi Sakti, Mr. KB.
Yes.
My own brothers. They all treated me like a kid brother, and they were very concerned for me. So it was actually holding back that long, and I turned producer when I was 25 actually.
Okay. But you see, to be a producer, it virtually means riding a mad horse, you know, because people are putting money on you, not as an actor but also as a producer. You are having two responsibilities to play.
Anyway, it's a mad horse. But imagine somebody sitting behind you holding the reins. So I would rather hold the reins. That's what I thought. And in those times, now we have producers who know the medium. It's not just bags of money they come with. Some of the producers know actually the story. They get involved. For example, even way back, producer of Purnodaya movies, Editha Nageshwara, used to sit and watch his shooting like an audience and be happy like a director would be happy after the shot is over. We got 2 good shots today. And that matters a lot. Right. And that was lacking at the time. They were just crunching numbers. Crunching numbers won't pave way for either blockbusters or great movies.
Absolutely, no doubt.
All those films are done with when they open their hearts out. Right. Look at the old studio films. It might be a wrong, good idea, arrogant studio boss, but he believed in that dream and put everything behind it. Otherwise, how would you pay somebody like Chaplin in 1915 something like $1 million?
Right, true.
And they were making short reelers and
true,
they paid him per annum something like $1 million.
True.
And they asked the studio guys, why are you paying Chaplin? No, he'll get the money back.
Correct. Yeah, that's all they know.
Yeah, but then it's done with a lot of
Absolutely.
passion. Actually, McSennett lost him.
True.
Keystone lost him.
Exactly. You know, but your audiences are clearly divided into two groups. One who love you doing your serious films, and one who love your comedy films. You know, how do you satisfy two audiences?
No, comedy is nothing disrespectful, if you ask me. So for me, when I make either of the films, I look for quality in them. But when you make a film, I think I don't want to make a film with Khan or Carlo Vivari or my national awards in mind. For me, the applause, even the silent nod from an audience it's a great award. That's what I aim. And also that it reaches out to the 12 jurors who sit there is something that makes me very happy.
True. But you see, somewhere in my long years of association with you, you always have a little soft corner for your serious films that you do over the comedy films.
Of course.
When you know the audience also want that.
All comedians are serious people. If you have... Actually, they are angry people too. If they were to vent their anger directly vocalize their anger, they would be more hated than loved. Because with humor, you can actually gently give them the injection they deserve.
True. I have also noticed that you have a very, very talented voice. You sing beautifully. You know, why did you choose to have singers do for you? You know, like Hollywood actors. You know.
I'm a great connoisseur of music, so the choice of making others sing for me is because I love music.
Okay.
The choice of making me sing, or the mistake of making me sing, all goes to Ilayaraja. And a few other music directors who probably wanted to show off that in spite of him, look at how good my song is. But otherwise, I think it brings, why I sing is it brings more of the character into it. It's not because I think I'm a great singer. I had great teachers though.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean I'm a great singer.
Yeah. You know, he had a dubious distinction of singing a song in the reverse. You know, there is a film called Manmadan Ambu in which there is a song sequence which happens entirely in the reverse. So, the song was recorded, of course, straight. But when it was played back on location, it was played back in the reverse. Could you sing a little from that?
Well, if I sing the song as I sang it, you won't recognize. It goes like... It goes like that. It's actually Neelavanam. It becomes like that. So we thought it's a good way to beat the technical glitch.
So if I have to ask you at this moment, what would be the 3 best characters that you have played among the 260 films that you have done so far?
The best one, I would say that I don't know whether I'm successful playing it, is Kamal Haasan. I'm trying to make it convincing, at least to myself. No, it's very difficult because I like certain movies, but then I grow out of them. There are certain characters which I'm surprised. Like Chaplin said, how did you come up with the tramp? I don't know. I just thought, let me have a baggier pant than the coat.
Okay.
And then a bigger shoe and a smaller hat and a very slim cane.
Yes.
And then suddenly, I had nothing to do with it. I looked at myself in the mirror. I wanted a smaller mustache, so it won't hide my expressions. These are all technical matters that I took care of. But the character just walked with me. It's a strange thing, like if you see Naidu for that matter. You can see that all of it is me and it's not me. That sometimes you feel, if I had been religious or spiritual, I would say something special came into me. It's just that all these aids help me get into a persona which is not me, which is very enjoyable.
Right.
It is like that roller coaster ride where you don't know what will happen next.
True.
So I really don't know how Naidu would behave to the
given event.
Yeah, it has to come from that mindset. And in Hindi is called Subhash Kundu. He's a Bengali gentleman.
Right.
So it's a very strange thing to. So writing it with Saurav Shukla is writing the Hindi version.
Right.
I have very little acting to do.
Okay.
That's very interesting for me. And Sagara Sangamam was one of those films that just took us all, the filmmaker, actor, music director. It just embraced us rather than the other way around.
Okay.
So that is a very important thing. But then every film you do, that this is because you're all said and done a prisoner of time, that moment. Something better, even somebody else's performance, sort of scares you back to reality.
Right.
Like Tom Hardy, Ryan Gosling. These are much younger actors than I am, and the clarity with which even women actors like Marion Cotillard, I feel envious. They say that, why are you envying a woman? I said, why not? I envied my mother for qualities that she had. And Marion Cotillard and La Vie en Rose, where she plays the singer. It's beyond her age, the kind of that humbles me to weigh my performance. So when I say that I like Sagara Sangam, a performance like La Vie en Rose by a lady makes me change my view on that. So it's ever-changing values for me. It is the same rupee note, but it means something in 1950 and means something else now.
Very true. Now, when you write your lines, you are one of the first to switch over from the classical Tamil lines which Shivaji Ganeshan would speak, and you would speak like modern Tamil, a contemporary street Tamil. Do you see a change in characters because the way you speak those lines?
Yeah, there is. Tamilians are given to rhetoric and rhyme.
Right.
It's natural.
Natural to them, yes.
Like it's there in the language. Even if they curse someone, it has a Edagai Mone, as we call it.
Yes.
It has a. So in a Tamil film, it can never be a mayor something else like Kamachi. It has to be Mayor Meenachi. Porter Ponnusamy. It is like that. So the tendency is there, and we all of India came from the theatre background.
True.
And Mahabharata and Harikatha thing.
So that's a balance you have to strike.
For me, my predecessors, great genius, who brought it into films that were even mythological, they spoke the normal language. N.S. Krishnan and Nagesh.
Right.
Nagesh in Thiruvilayadal, the film, there is Lord Shiva, there is Nakira, but he speaks and he uses even Urdu words in a time when Shiva is present. He says, Pradekanathai kazhithu kondu Bakiye kudunga Maharaja. Baki is a Urdu word. And nobody found it as an anachronism. It is so fantastic. They are all teachers of how I came about.
If you have to recall one memorable line that you have spoken in one of your films, what would be that? Which something just comes to your mind.
There are quite a few, but people have a choice. They invariably use the Nayakan lines. Or they'll come up with a Guna line and say, Manidar unarndu kolla idu Manidar kadar alla. I like the lines where in Virmandi the man takes a simple line that is given to him. It's a word of wisdom given to him by his girlfriend, and gets lost in the proverb.
Right.
And makes a mess of the whole idea. I think that's my favorite line,
Yes.
because any great idea could be ruined if you don't understand it well.
Very true. One of your most favorite co-stars, in all your cinema has been Sridevi.
Yes. Yes.
You have worked with her in so many films. What are the most memorable moments with Sridevi?
See, her the absorbing technique that she has is astounding, because we took her for granted, and I was the class pupil leader in Mr. Balchandra's
Okay.
place. So when teacher was not around, I was a bully. So he used to run the rehearsals, push them in positions, and even give her one of those knocks on the head to correct her. And it was like that. And she was very young when we came. It's almost, though we did romantic scenes and all that, it was almost like schoolmates, and it's almost sibling-like, the quality. Never thought of her as a person of another gender, but one of the gang, and so could be dominated if opportunity arises, and correct her. And it's like how siblings learn from each other. And she is such a mimic. She'll pick up a little from KB, little from me. And I used to wonder why I like this expression so much, and it is mine actually. And she picks it up so much, and we both grew together almost.
Right.
We have done about 30 plus films together. So that's almost a lifetime.
Absolutely. Another great actor you admired, and for his way he transformed was the late Cho Ramaswamy. He's also a great inspiration for you.
Yes.
What were the things you learned from him?
Once I went to him to complain about the state of comedy in the state of Tamil Nadu. So I was just droning and complaining and whining generally. And I said, look, when you and Nagesh sir were doing comedy, and he said, just stop right there. You're talking out of turn now. No, but have you seen any of the... No. First, let's come back to what you said. Do not talk of Nagesh and me in one breath. Nagesh is Nagesh. I am a good writer. You're a good actor. Nagesh is a good actor. Don't confuse me for anything else. So that is not only the humility, but also the clarity that he had. He'll never take a, undeserving compliment. Never. Quickly cut to the point. He won't just give a sheepish smile and say thank you. He'll correct it, and I like that quality, the precision of thought in the humor of Job. Actually, he's a very serious man. He gets angry very quickly, but it's all full of satire. It's one way of exhibiting his anger.
My goodness. Now, if you had to, go back to Paramakudi and, relive your whole life, from there to today, I would think you'd be an awesome politician, a good politician.
I think that's an oxymoron. There's awesome politician maybe, but good politician doesn't exist. The reason is, I'm not blaming personalities. The reason is politics is so confusing and avaricious now. Nobody could stay good there. That is why
that's a very desperate note.
No, it is. It is. And somebody said, why do you think that it's not impossible to have another Gandhi amidst us? Because Gandhiji is a spirit. Why is it not happening? Because of peer pressure to be otherwise. Gandhiji also must have had that peer pressure, but he broke away from it at the peril of being called an eccentric madman. Because in 1907, when he came to the Congress committee meeting, he was not considered to be one of those sane youngsters. He's a maverick, nonsense speaking youngster who started with the lavatory cleaning when we were talking about Swadesh. He is talking about cleaning lavatories. So what is the connection? I think he's looking at freedom from the wrong end.
Right.
But that is a spirit that will make. So it's wrong for people to look for such stalwarts in one place called the capital or one green well called the parliament well. You will find them as pedestrians, ready to offer their life for the country. They do exist. You don't have to think of politicians as the only way out of our misery. You are that way out of that misery. And they can be your appointed, say, equivalent of a CEO who will run the country for you because you have other things to do to make the country better.
Wonderful. So on that note, I would like to thank Kamal Haasan very, very much for this wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Wonderful afternoon with all of us and sharing his thoughts. And I hope your next film runs very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Most of my answers, if they are interesting, it's because the way he asked the questions. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was wonderful to hear those